am so delighted to be able to join you in this wonderful virtual meeting that we're having right now. This morning, I was reading, like most of us probably are, in the Come Follow Me, and I'm in Alma 7. I'm in Alma 7, the last chapter for the week. And I came across Alma chapter 7, verse 7. Now, my children know that one of my favorite verses, passages is Alma 7:11. Napakadaling tandaan. If you are spiritually hungry, you go to 7-Eleven. If you're physically hungry, you go to, maybe you have more 7-Elevens in your area than in the Philippines. But if we are physically hungry, one of the go-to now in Cebu is 7-Eleven. But if you're spiritually hungry, don't forget to go to Alma 7-Eleven. But and just make a note of that. That's one of the most powerful verses you will ever find, because that is the center of the message of the gospel. But I was in 7:7, Alma 7:7, and I literally stopped when I was reading Alma 7:7. And Alma 7:7 says something like, there are many things to come. Alma was saying na maraming bagay ang mangyayari. There are many things that will come. And then he said this line that really caught my attention. Sabi niya, but there is one thing which is more important than they all. Many things will come, but there is one thing that is more important than all of the events that will ever happen. And that's progressing towards Alma 7:11. But after I read that, I got to thinking, and I said to myself, let me write this down on my notes. And I wrote down on my notes, for me, Alma 7:7 is what I call the law of prioritization. The law of prioritization. And the law of prioritization simply means this. For me, the law of prioritization means not all things are of equal value. Let me say that again. Not all things are of equal value. Sabi ni Alma, many things will come, but there is one event that will be more important than them all. And so for me, the law of prioritization simply says, not all things are of equal value. Now, here's the big question, my friends. What does this got to do with leadership? What does this principle that says not all things are of equal value relate to leadership? What does this mean to leadership? And I'm going to say it to you, and I'm so excited to share this simple principle with you this afternoon. My friends, I hope that you will remember this. Not all leadership are of equal value. There are forms of leadership that are more important than other forms of leadership. There can be many forms of leaderships, but there is one leadership that is more important than them all. Not all leadership are of equal value. Now, this is just my opinion, my friends. You may come up with your own, but this is just my opinion. For me, the most important kind of leadership is personal leadership. The highest form of leadership is personal leadership. Now, in order for us to appreciate this concept that I just shared with you, I think you and I need to remember the time that we were in what they call airplanes, which has not been functioning very much lately. Pero natatandaan niyo po, nung tayo po nakasakay sa aeroplano, bago po lumipad yung aeroplano, yung pong flight attendant, meron siyang paulit-ulit na sinasabi niya. Kahit na narinig mo na, uulit-ulitin pa rin niya. Because this is what they call the safety features and the safety procedures and practices. And if you remember, my friends, sabi nung ating flight attendant, if there is an oxygen, drop of oxygen in the plane, sabi niya, if there's a drop of oxygen in the plane, the oxygen masks will automatically fall down from the cabin. And then they would always say this, if you're seated beside a child, or if you're seated beside an elderly person, put on the mask, your mask first, before you put on the mask on the child. Put on your mask first. Now, brothers and sisters, I don't call that selfishness. I call that leadership. How can we help others if we ourselves are not in the ability to help? How can we bless others if we are not in the ability to do so? How can you put on somebody else's oxygen if you already ran out of oxygen? So my brothers and sisters, my leadership message to you is very simple. If you and I don't have a vision, it's difficult to inspire others to have a vision. If you and I don't have personal discipline, it's very difficult to inspire others to have discipline. If you and I don't have personal motivation, then it will be very difficult for us to inspire others to have motivation. So once again, I think this is really important for all of us. And my first message to you in our leadership journey together is let us put on our masks first. Let us first do our part, and it's going to be very easy and it's going to be very effective for us to help others. Now, some of you might be thinking, so James, but I'm not perfect. And let me just give you my final note for this leadership presentation. Now, some of us would say, James, does that mean that I need to be perfect before I can go and inspire others? Please don't think that. One of my mottos in life is don't aim for perfection, aim for progression. We don't have to be perfect. We have to be progressing. If we are progressing, I think that is enough for us to be able to inspire others. We don't have to have a perfect business to inspire others to have their own business. We don't have to be perfect in everything so that we can inspire others. So once again, don't aim for perfection. Aim for progression. If we are progressing, if we are advancing, then I think that's enough for us to hold wonderful leadership positions and go ahead and inspire others. So once again, not all leadership are of equal value. Some leadership are more important than other forms of leadership. And for me, the most important form of leadership is personal leadership.